And we are live. Good morning, D. Good morning.
Hey, buddy. Good afternoon, man. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. We are going to just wait for a couple seconds, see if people pop on. We're going to be talking about the whole series for the year is the new economy, and a little bit of announcements that we got going on, which I'm really stoked about or excited about, if anything, and a few new features that we have as well that's going to help people with the new economy. So we're going to get into it. And then for those that are going to be jumping on, if you have any questions for us, feel free to jump in. Starting next week, we're going to be also talking about what's new in the whole industry, right down to WhatsApp. I'm sorry, what's not, and TikTok and going live, and where do you go live, and what kind of products do you build? How do you get it to the world? All of these great things. I think that it's a really simple way. There's a simple way of doing it. We're going to go over that today. And if I was to start all over, what would I do? I'm going to go over that today as well. Also, I want to just quickly bring up the new economy is on TribeLink. We'll put something up a little later on TribeLink that is going to allow you to enter the new economy, teach you how to create products and services absolutely for free. And it is going to be a 7-day deal, but eventually we're bringing it down to 3. There's a reason why. And we will talk about that inside of Tribe as well. Awesome. So let's get going.
Yeah, man.
How are you?
Buddy, doing all right, man. Doing all right.
We have this PDF. I think this is a game changer too. All right, let's see. By the way, anyone that's joining us, feel free to say hi. You can say who you are. If you have a question, we can bring it across the screen. That would be really cool. That helps out other people. One of the things that I love about Tribe is the fact that we're all coming together, helping one another. We might be a few steps ahead of you, and some of you might be a lot ahead of others. And John, good morning. And for those of you that are quite a few steps ahead, then we would love to have you in Tribe as well. And here's one of the things that we're looking to be doing, especially on the product creation side, is the fact that we're going to have breakout rooms for those that are at different levels. You can go into a breakout room and hold each other accountable. Most people, hi, baby, how are you? Most people have a hard time with accountability. So that is going to help. Oh, and that's another thing. Getting past start. We're going to talk about that. This has been a thing for me for like ever, is getting past start. When I was doing business turnaround, a lot of times people are just stuck, right? So we're going to tell you how you can get past that. But once again, this is the need for a tribe. Tribes will help you stay motivated, get going, and create momentum. Because without that, that's why people fail.
Well, dude, usually like that the first step or second step, I don't care what it is always the hardest. And you know what? I mean, if you go to the gym, if you want to lose weight, or you're doing anything else, you know what I mean? Having accountability, having a partner, having someone to push you sometimes, or someone to answer to is always a good thing, and always a way to get it done. You know?
Absolutely. By the way, Jubilant Careers, John must be behind that one. We have some really cool things going to happen with Jubilant Careers, and that is AI attendants, AI employees. For those of you that feel like that's strange and how could that ever work, you just won't even believe it. So we'll get into that on another day. But we have AI employees, AI attendants, as well as real humans. So we have real, if you need a virtual assistant, you can have an AI, a virtual assistant, or you can actually hire an assistant. Now, here's one of the things, and one of these days we need to get like a CPA on, somebody that's really well versed, especially with this new economy, and in the future as well as an attorney on talking about things that you should be doing. I feel like we have a pretty good program talking about FTC requirements, and we're going to be talking about that as well, especially in the new economy. And here's the reason why it's so important is the fact that, you have this no tax on tips. So that opens up a whole new way how people are going to get paid. I had somebody say, so couldn't I just take my whole salary as a tip? I'm like, I don't think that'll work. Or what if somebody's a creator? You know how Facebook, as well as a lot of these other platforms, you would be surprised. And that's another thing. We want to bring all of the monetizing ways of all of the platforms so there's no confusion. Right now, there's some people that don't realize that even Facebook has a live feature. Amazon has a live feature. Obviously, Facebook has a live this way. I'm talking about selling live, going into the marketplace and selling live. Folks, there are people that are becoming millionaires for the very first time, just going live, selling stuff that they have or affiliate type products. It's just very exciting. For me, though, we're going to talk about how the easiest way to enter the new economy.
Well, okay. You keep talking about the new economy. So someone that's maybe listened to us for the first time or don't know exactly what you're talking about, would you expand on that?
I'm gonna give the biggest or the shortest answer. You are the new economy. So it's anyone with info, or I'll give you an example. So if you have info and you have the right type of website, the right type of systems, you can create your own economy. Meaning people are going to buy what you, so let's pretend that you're a life coach or you're marriage counseling, and you have a profound way of bringing value to them with a predetermined price of what that value is going to be worth. And we teach you how to do that. You can create wealth that way. Think of all the ones that have done it before. You got Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, you name it, right? Brennan Bouchard. They all had info. They all had a way to change your life. People saw the value in that and they bought it. It's pretty much that.
Right. Whether it's business knowledge or motivation or, you know what I mean? Like whatever your skill set is, if you have knowledge, you got a way to monetize it.
And there is three things you got to think about. It is wealth, health, and relationships. Most everything can fit into those three groupings. If you have anything that fits within those groupings, you have the making for a really well oiled machine, right? Here's another thing. With the new economy, it used to be back in the day, you had to pay to be on TV. So like infomercials, some people hated them. Some people actually watched them, right?
Right.
But they were called infomercials. And today you don't need that anymore.
Dude, do you think of Billy Mays? How good did he? What kind of living did he make on the commercials back in the day?
And most of them weren't even his products, and he did very, very well. Here's what I love about this, though, with TikTok, What's Not. There's so many others, and of course, you have even Amazon Live. These are QVC style selling. That is, you're going to see this grow exponentially in the next 5 years. Info products are always going to be a thing. So when you see, oh, they're starting to die off, that's not true. They're always going to be a thing. What do I mean by that? If you need to learn anything, you can go to YouTube, right? If you want to learn something that's probably a little more has a lot more skill involved, then most likely you're going to go to platforms like ours or Udemy or something like that, Kajabi, to learn, deep dive, like really learn from the masters. That's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
All right, let's see. All right, let's get into it. One moment. I'm going to go over these. And by the way, our hard stop is at 12:30 today. So if you have a question, feel free to come in, ask a question. If you're stuck, if you just, hey, I want to participate in the economy. So what is the new economy? Yeah, the My Pillow guy that was a huge one.
Yeah, it was.
Today, it would have been a lot easier for him to get that product out there. So it's that the new economy is really online and shipping. If you're in the shipping business, if you're somebody like us that had a product to where you can ship a product to a consumer, that's the new economy. A lot of the barriers have been broken down, and today you can, especially if you do it right, you can really excel in this. I like to keep it simple. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. One moment. So the very first thing that you need to do is you got to have a problem that you're going to solve. Okay. So if you're somebody that is in health, wealth, and relationships, so health would be anything from growing gardens to teaching people how to lose weight. I have a colleague, if you will, Walter Weathers, that he'll be a big deal on Tribe for sure. He's very good at what he does. He already physically looks the way a lot of people want. He physically feels the way that people want to feel. So his product is really himself, right? So at this point, what he would be doing is helping people understand what kind of meals to eat, how to meal prep, when to eat, what not to eat, more importantly, what not to eat, right? It's that. Wealth is, to some degree, we're in that niche a little bit. That is teaching people maybe how to trade stocks, how to, even though I don't care for it, crypto, all of those type of things is really where it's at. Okay, so the next thing, here's where people get it wrong. It's kind of like the restaurant business. It really, this actually goes for anything. And that is, you got to know what people want. There's a lot of people that'll create something because they love it and they think everybody else is going to love it. Come to find out, nobody wants it. It's that. So create a prototype. So let's say you're going to do a course. Create a course, an outline of the course, teach something for free to see if there's enough people that want it. Then once you know that they do, you can use them as testimonials and then actually create the product, and then you launch the product. Now, mind you, we teach these steps in further, but these are the 5 things that you really got to know. So once you create the prototype, you're going to find out if it's a winner or if it's a loser. For instance, if I was creating, and I do this a lot, if I was creating a timer cube and there's just a plethora of them out there and not everybody knows what they are, so now I got to spend more money educating them as to why you'd want one. Or there is another way, but it's kind of like when you're discussing something and you tell somebody your favorite book. Well, what is that book? Because they're already following you, they may want what you do, right? So there is that. Once you have a brand, it's kind of easier to sell other products. But if I had to teach people this, I might not just be able to make enough money. Does that make sense?
Right.
But if I already have an audience and mine does something different, which mine will, then maybe I want to make it, but I got to make sure that people are going to want it to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Well, it's funny because and that's what makes this whole system great is the fact that I know you don't love crypto where I like it. And yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's something for everybody.
Might be a day I will.
Right. Well, exactly. You know what I mean? We both like stocks. But there's so many different knowledge bases and so many different things that you can be into or like or know that you know what I mean? That's what makes it great, because whether you're gardening or homesteading or whatever it could be. I mean basket weaving, you know what I mean? You never know, yes. like how you what kind of followers you're going to have and how best to do it.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of niches right on TribeLink that you could look to see where you fit. If I was somebody that was very good at, let's say, hydroponics, that's huge right now. It's hot. By the way, this is where you leverage. This is when you can leverage AI. Let AI do some of your research for you. Right now, I don't believe that you use AI, create an avatar that looks just like you, that does a live just like this. I can do that. We could have avatars while you and I are doing whatever. Avatars are actually running the show and doing a live. You can create that. I can tell a little bit. It's harder to tell now, but I can still tell that it is AI. But you can do that. I see people using AI to create websites. and they look horrible. So it'll be a day though that it's going to look great. You'll just see. Let's bring that up again. Okay, then the next thing, once you know, and this is big, folks. Once you know you have a winner, you first got to know that people want it. Once you know that people want it, people love it, then you create it, and then of course you scale it. So how do you scale it? Lori, always look at what you're passionate about and teach or create around it. Yeah, absolutely. That's huge. Like
that is huge.
First of all, there are some that say, oh, this whole, live your passion is BS. What? Can you imagine doing something you don't like to do? This is a reason why Mondays is the number one day for people having a heart attack, followed up by Sunday, knowing that Monday's coming. I mean, it's horrible, right? Those are people that are either stressed out or hate what they do. I used to joke with my brother because there's a long reason why, but I used to say, Todd, you hate what you do. He goes, no, I don't. And I'm like, no, you really do. You know how I knew he did? He maximized how many days he could take off for work. When you love what you do, I work my weekends. Case in point. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so you create it. Once you create it, this is where 99% of people, you want to be better than 99% of the people, you need to, once you create it, you need to what?
You need to sell it, man.
You got to sell it. You got to go. You got to get past start. So many people fail here. It's like, oh, it's not good enough, or it's not this and it's not that. No, it's good enough. You just go. For us, there's a lot of things I cringe on. It's okay. Like, I'm not perfect, but you know what? I see the end game. I see where it's all going to be going, and we're building a community around it. I just love it.
Right.
Then, of course, what you need to do is sell to many. So part of the new economy is getting out of the brick and mortar. And if you have brick and mortar, you can still lean into this. You can still get in the shipping business. You can still get into the new economy by just doing more reach. If you have the ability to do that. As a beautician, they're going to have a hard time with that. Beauticians are still going to be needed, so it's fine. But if somebody, you're kind of limited, right? You got to open up new shops to make more money.
Right.
I just don't like that method anymore. This is why malls are dying. This is why you're starting to see a lot of retail office spaces, especially, are being affected right now.
No, commercial real estate
offices are on the rise. Office sheds are on the rise. Outbuildings being converted into studios are on the rise. This is the new way.
Yeah, no way. Meanwhile, you're seeing like commercial real estate really. It's kind of the weakest we've seen that in a good while. Just
absolutely.
It's because you just don't know where it's going and how it's going to be. Like how many especially after the pandemic. Honestly, when the remote from home working really started picking up, it definitely changed the dynamic. Now we talked about that last one. Some people like it, some people don't like it. Some people want to be, but there's still a percentage of people that aren't going back to an office, and a lot of people will.
Yeah. And not to mention, for me, there is a certain building that I'm wanting soon. But I want the media wall type of deal.
Right.
Where should you promote your product? Well, that's a good question. Depends on the product. If I was I'm always going to use certain niches just because I love them. But if I was in like vegetable, gardens and stuff like that, TikTok would be huge. YouTube obviously would be my number one. Okay. And then depending on the product, if I'm creating a how-to of that, obviously I'm going to use Tribe because I love it. You're going to find more people that love what you do. You all come together and you form a tribe. You're forming your own economy. That's the big one. If you have an ability to not only sell, but you have the ability to teach, you can create that new economy right out of the gate. I know the number, what I want to hit with Mininar, just because I know Mininar And Mininar, let me bring it up real quick. Mininar is what I'm going to be talking. Actually, I'll just leave it for the SaaS part. But that's the thing. So if I was to start out, if I was to start all over, I would choose one thing. I would find the one. So maybe I've got 5 things that I love, right? Teaching, like product creating, let's say gardening, whatever, right? I would find the one thing, and then I would create a course around it. And then I would create a tribe of like-minded people to come together, consume my courses, if you will, right? But build my tribe to 1,000. That's what I would do. I have a mentor, Lance, that said, when you hit your first million, matter of fact, he said he was in the car, his own car, his CPA called him. I've heard many people say this. His CPA called him and said, hey, by the way, congratulations on that deal. What does it feel like to be a millionaire? Because it was his first deal, by the way, that he did. And he's in the real estate industry.
Right.
And so, at the end of the day, he goes, I didn't feel any bit different, but immediately I wanted more, not money-wise. He just wanted more deals. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, there's a lot of people that just love the thrill and the excitement and anticipation and, of doing a deal.
Yeah. So imagine now you have a course, you're going to teach, you have a tribe on that thing. For instance, I'll give you a perfect example of this. And there's many people that have this gift. But let's say your marriage, whatever, right? And you're really good at the marriage thing, or maybe you and somebody else, they're good, you're good, and you come together. By the way, you can form a tribe. You can jump into the new economy with somebody else. You can do a JV. You and I have done it. Right. John and I as well. And at the end of the day, you could do it like a JV thing. Here's the deal. When you do it, first of all, you got to make sure you have the right people on the team, right? You got to get along with them, folks. Secondly, you got to have the right people on the team that's going to help you move the needle, move the parts. But here's what's neat about it is when you create a product, you can get it to the world so fast, and you're all excited about. So let's go back to the marriage thing.
Well, the thing is, like, you always talk about the ripple, for example, like like with fitness or anything like that, like you have a gym, you're right there around that little ripple of your local area. You have a tribe where you're doing workouts and doing exercises and stuff in your tribe. Your ripple is anybody with a computer or a phone or a tablet.
Yes, absolutely. And that, if you have a phone, tablet, you got the way, you have what it takes right now. So if I was to start over, I would teach something and I would form a tribe, and then I would do everything to build that. Because then once you hit 100,000 a month or more, some people, there's more value there, right? So going back to the counseling thing, if you're really good at helping, let's say it's a Christian marriage thing, you can help people with their marriage, help them. Then you can have retreats, and think about that. You could see where this could go. You can have, maybe you're single and you have a singles club come together and you're teaching people the right way of how to pick up dates or whatever. Believe it or not, there's value there. People will come to that. Not to mention they can meet within that group, right? There's just so many ways to do it. But now that you have that group, it spawns more things. I like to say SaaS and apps, but it goes beyond that. Books. And I'm gonna give you the essential that I believe is probably one of the best business models there are. Now, mind you, we're in the coaching business for sure, but we're also in the physical product creation business. And I like SaaS, which is software as a service. So if you have, let's use this again in the health and fitness niche, you have somebody like Walter Weathers that has a body transformation. He could do the whole 90-day challenge, whatever, make a challenge that you're going to get in the best health of your life. And then he could have an app later down the road, or a book. I believe he has a book. Matter of fact, I know he has a book. So he has a book coming out on Amazon, physical as well as digital. And then now they buy your book. That's what I'm talking about. And once you have 1,000 raging fans and you grow that to 10,000, you never have to look back again. Like at that point, you literally have created your own economy. So when people say, well, what do you really, really, really mean about the creating your own economy? Do you know how everybody has to, like, if you're in the job force, you rely on the economy. You rely on it, right? Meaning,
Right.
if goods and services are selling, 1 second, let me get back to here. I had to see, what is this? Oh, it's another notification from UBTubi. If you have 1,000 or 10,000, let alone 1,000,000, 100,000, 50,000. I have a brother that has over 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's the economy I'm talking about. If you're somebody like Tim Ferriss that can just sell his book, and as soon as he comes out with another book, people buy it. Why? Because it's Tim Ferriss. He's got raging fans.
Right.
And that's what it's really all about. So let's see, what else do we have here? An app. That's another thing. So like for Walter Weathers, I would do an app that maybe does meal plans and has calming music within it. Like I could think of
There's
many
so
ways.
many. You're right. There's so many things you could do. And that's just it. And that's the way you make yourself different than other people.
Yes. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring this up. For those, especially if you hit the replay, still put your comments in or a question because we can answer it on our next one. But this is our app called Mininar, and it is for trainers and coaches, consultants, and the whole idea of this is it's on your phone. So if you want to learn something besides YouTube, obviously you can do that. And most people are on their phone. Most people consume their information, including podcasts, on the phone. So I just felt like there's got to be a better way for a webinar. Do it on your own time, but it has notifications. I know that app will do extremely well. Right. Because it serves so many different pain points when it comes to a trainer or a coach.
Well, and also while everything's locked down, all your information is
Yes.
locked down through there as well.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we are going to end this one. We will be back next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, the subject matter is actually designing your product, designing your tribe, and how do you go about doing that? It's only 10 steps. And when you get through those 10-step points, which, by the way, when you go to the new economy, you're going to get a quick heads up on it. But at the end of the day, when you start going through that, it's a game changer. Now you get going. If there's any last questions before we end, or just say hi, let's see if we have anything else. Otherwise, we will end today's, and we will see you guys next Wednesday at noon. Today is Wednesday, right?
Today is Wednesday.
Yes. Next Wednesday at noon. And once again, tribelink.com. Go take the new economy if you want to learn more. It's 100% free. Our give back to you.
Awesome.
Awesome. Peace, everybody.
See you, everyone.